The son of a sharecropper and the grandson of a slave, Jackie Robinson is known for a lot of things, most notably his 10-year baseball career where he broke the color barrier and led the eventual flood of Negroes into Major League Baseball. Throughout his 10-year career, he had a 311 batting average, 137 home runs, 734 RBIs, and an on-base percentage of 409. And those are really, really good stats, but Jackie's story begins much, much before them. Jackie was born in 1919 in Georgia. He was born to a very, very poor family. He grew up very less fortunate than a lot of us. However, he was a very gifted athlete. He went to UCLA. He was the first athlete at UCLA to letter in 4 sports, which is great. He was a part of a national championship team. In 1942, Jackie joined the Army, and that would change his life forever. He never saw action because in 1944 he was court-martialed for an incident that happened on a bus where the bus driver asked him to go to the back of the bus, similar to the Rosa Parks situation, and Jackie refused. And he was court-martialed, but charges were dropped, and an all-white panel acquitted Jackie. This would lay the foundation for his involvement in racial and civil rights in the late 1940s and 1950s while he played baseball. Some of Jackie's accomplishments in baseball: he was the MVP of the International League in 1946. The International League was a Negro league, and so it was all black. In 1947, he broke the color barrier, becoming the first African American to play in the Major League since the 1880s. He was also the very first winner of the Rookie of the Year award because of his stellar play. In 1949, he was the National League MVP. He was a 6-time All-Star between 1949 and 1954. And in 1955, he won the World Series, finally. The Yankees had a dynasty from the late 40s to the early 50s, so the crosstown rivals, they finally beat them. And in 1962, Jackie Robinson was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. He was the first African American to be inducted, and in 1997, Major League Baseball retired his number, so nobody in any team could ever wear his number again because of the impact he has had on our sport. This is an important quote. I think it's Jackie's most important quote that he ever had. It says, "A life is not important except in the impact it has on other lives." And Jackie Robinson lived by that. After baseball, he he helped establish a bank that was owned and operated by African Americans only. He also was the writer. He had his own syndicated newspaper column where he wrote about racial issues and civil rights. He was an outspoken advocate for Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. He often spoke at civil rights events. And after his death, he received the Congressional Medal of Honor, and he also received the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And that just tells you that, like, Jackie Robinson was a big deal for the civil rights movement, but also he was just an amazing leader in sports for his team. When he came into the league, nobody wanted him there. Nobody wanted an African American in baseball. His teammates despised him. His teammates, opposing players, spit on him. Frequently, he was spiked. Death threats. His wife got death threats. His house got vandalized several times. Nobody wanted Jackie there. And what did Jackie do? Did he fight back? Did he hit anybody? No. No violence ever came out of Jackie because he knew that if he fought back, nobody of his race would ever get the chance, at least for a while, because of issues in this country. By the time Jackie's first season was over, though, people had begun to respect him. His teammates began to like him. And he opened the door for African Americans to come into Major League Baseball. And not just African Americans, but people from other countries who were segregated against because they are not white. Jackie is the greatest leader in sports, not because of the amount of championships he won, not because of the amount of his stats are the best, People had better stats. He only had a 10-year career. People had better accomplishments than he did, but it's because of how he carried himself, given the situations he was put in. I admire Jackie. He did an amazing job for baseball, and baseball would not be the same without him. A big part of Jackie and leadership is he said, do something to break down a barrier or carve out a path for someone else, not once, but as often as you can. And so, yeah, in 1947, when he broke the color barrier, he did a big thing. Like, that was huge. But he didn't stop there. He continued to fight for civil rights for the rest of his life until he died in 1973. Jackie's legacy is not just because he broke the color barrier. His legacy is so much bigger than that. His legacy is because everything he did while in baseball, everything he did after baseball, and what he did for sports in America, not just baseball, but basketball and football and everything. Like, Jackie Robinson is the greatest leader of sports. He like I said, it's not because of how many championships he won, what his stats were. It was because how he carried himself. And yeah, Jackie is great.